Voices of Women Summit, where in honor of International Women's Day 2026, we are raising the voices of hundreds of women so their messages can be heard. Your host for this session is Kimberly Crow. Kimberly is the founder of Entrepreneurs Rocket Fuel and the creator of the Voices of Women Summit. She's got another amazing guest coming right up. Take it away, Kimberly. Hey folks, this just gets more and more fun for me. I'm here with another very good friend of mine, Michelle Abraham. Michelle and I have put together programs. We've had fun. We've traveled together. She's an amazing friend, an amazing resource, amazing businesswoman. And we're always coming up with new things together. Welcome to the program, Michelle.
Thank you for having me as always. I love attending all of your things. You love attending all of my things. It's just great.
I know, it's
I love
wonderful. Your
it.
new thing, though, you've just launched this, and it's really all about being soul aligned. And this one is the 5 pillars of soul aligned podcast ecosystem. So, if you have a podcast ecosystem, there's 5 things that you need to do to make sure that it's in alignment with who you are and what you're up to in the world. Is that correct?
Yeah, and well, one of the things that has happened in podcasting, so I've been in the podcasting space over 13 years, and I come up with the people who don't want to do a podcast, and that the reason they say they don't want to do a podcast is because it's too much effort, too much time, doesn't make enough money. And I said, that's great, but your podcast should not be a content engine. It should be a part of an ecosystem that fuels your business so you get more leads, more clients, and more money into your business. And in order to do that, you've got to be aligned with what you're doing in your business and in your life. So this alignment piece and the soul alignment piece came from, as you know, I took a step back for a little while from podcasting
Yeah.
to then come right back to it. But it wasn't because I was not loving podcasting. It's just because I was operating in my business in a way that was just not in alignment. I was doing all the tasks and all the things that I thought I should be doing and not getting a team members to do things that are not my business to be doing them. And I was becoming the bottleneck and burning myself out. And that's when I realized I was just not in a soul alignment with the way I was operating the business. It wasn't what I loved my business and my clients. It's just that I needed to get in alignment with who I was first before I can then put it out there into the world and get back into business.
Has anybody felt like that? Like, I know I loved this business at one time, but I'm not loving the day to day. I'm not loving the work. I'm not loving the things that I'm doing. And I'm really stuck in most of the problems instead of most of the joy. If that's you, can you just put that's me in the chat box? It's totally me. I have been there, done that,
Yeah.
got the t-shirt. I definitely understand that. All right, well, we're going to get into this, but let's dig a little bit further. You said you were in podcasting for 13 years, then you took this hiatus and now
Mhm.
you're back and this fresh look at podcasting. Is that now more closely in alignment with who you are?
Yeah, and so it's interesting. I had this thing about high vibe leaders, and we've always been working with people that are, I consider high vibe leaders, and those are our people. They're out there making a positive impact in the world. They're bringing joy to their life. They're running their business in the way that's aligned with them. And then I realized I wasn't. So, anyways, this high vibe leaders thing kept coming to me, and I'm like, I think this is something. This is going to be something, and I just don't know what it is yet. And so I spent about 6 or 7 months in frustration mode trying to figure out what is this high vibe leader thing? Is it this or is it this? Is it? And I launched a few iterations of it and it just wasn't landing. And finally I had a conversation with a bunch of ladies that I love and adore in business. And they've been talking to me about podcasting and launching their podcasts. And I finally said to them, I said, okay, why are you not launching a podcast? I think it's a great thing. I think every business owner should have one. Why are you not doing it? And they said to me, well, it doesn't really, we're going to be doing it alone. And I said, no, but we're here to like launch it. We help you launch and manage it and keep you in your zone of genius. And we do all the techie stuff and all that. And they're just like, no, I'll be doing it alone after that. And I was like, alone? That's interesting. So I had this idea. I'm like, well, what if all of you guys came together and we launched a podcast network? Therefore, you're not doing it together. There's a community behind it. We're all on the same network and we're kind of like playing for the same team. And if someone likes Kimberly's show, they're going to like my show, and Apple will help you like, share those listeners. And immediately they all said yes. And there was about 10 of them. And it was a matter of 48 hours. I had 10 women saying yes If we're going to do it as a community and a team of other high vibe leaders, I'm in. And I was like, okay, back to podcasting then. And so I came back to podcasting and realized that really it's the same thing happens in your podcast. If you start a podcast that's like over here, you think you're going to do whatever podcast, and then you have your business over here and they don't talk and they don't align together, then you're going to like treat the podcast over time, and you're going to start to ignore it. You're going to stop paying attention to it. You're going to treat it like that little brother or sister and it'll just fall off. And that's where pod fade comes in for most podcasters. They stop doing their show. Now, fast forward to this whole idea of doing it in community and having this alignment piece around everyone who's doing this podcast on a network or similarly aligned. This is what made me think about the podcast as now an ecosystem. So I looked at all of our podcasters that were really successful and that were monetizing their show, getting clients from their show, building a big fan base. What did they all have in common? And they all had a couple of things in common. So these are the 5 things that I think you need in a podcast ecosystem to really help your podcasts become the thing that you want to do in your business that helps propel everything else. So your podcast, it becomes your marketing engine, your authority platform, it becomes a client attraction system, and it becomes your legacy voice out there. So it's the thing that you don't want to give up because it's what's fueling everything else. It's like a flywheel, right? From your podcast, you get all these things like clients and listeners and new authority, and you get your marketing done, you get all these great pieces of content, but it all comes from your podcast. And if done correctly, it should make your life easier, and it should be something that you never want to stop doing. So you want to hear what the 5 are?
I do. What's number 1? What's the first pillar?
Okay, so number 1 is that message. So getting really clear on what your message is and how it works in your business. So, you might want to start a podcast about peanut butter and jelly, but your business is about jelly. And so the peanut butter and jelly piece doesn't quite fit. So you want to start a podcast that's aligned with your business. So getting really clear on who you are, what you talk about in this world, and how that relates to the work that you do. Oftentimes a podcast is something that we've overcome ourselves, and that we want to be the guide and bring people along on the journey so that they can also learn from us, but also feel like we're not teaching or talking at them. We're on this journey too, right? So that's what we call our soul message. So making sure that message is soulfully aligned with you and aligned with the work that you're doing in the world already, or the work that you want to be doing. So if you're not currently doing it, that is okay. We just want to get this piece right, because if I go talk about on a parenting podcast about being a parent, and my program's about parents of toddlers, and the podcast is about parents of teens, that's a mismatch audience, right? And same thing when I have someone on my show, it's a mismatch audience. We want to be really clear what our message is. So that's number 1. Are you ready for number 2?
Yeah. Number 1, get clear on your message and have it be in alignment and conjunction with your business.
Yes, so it's your soul message. Number 2 is have a strategic show. So not just think, oh, I want to do a show on this. 5 minutes later, you press record and get it out there. Without any thought into it. Those are the shows that are going to lose traction after 20 episodes, or maybe not even make it to 20 episodes, right? That's what we call pod fade. We don't want that to happen. So I'm going to share a story about one of our clients, Amy, and she's got a very strategic show. So Amy is an executive coach, and her goal was to get into corporations to build her executive coaching business. Amy was having a hard time picking up the phone to all those right people that you call when you get to a corporation that tell you no. No, he's not available. No, you can't talk to the person that makes decisions. No, they're not available. And no, never call back again. So I don't know if any of you guys have heard those people or tried to get into them. It's pretty tricky. So Amy was like, how do I get into these corporations? And so she came to us and she said she wanted to start a podcast. And what we came up with the conclusion of, we looked at our business, okay, what she really needs to do is talk to CEOs. Those are the people that make decisions in the corporations that she wants to work in. So we reverse engineered that a little bit, and she came up with a show called Courage of a Leader.
Courage of a Leader. Okay.
Yeah, Courage of a Leader. So now she has peer-to-peer conversations about courage and leadership to CEOs, and CEOs are the people she has on as a guest. So now Amy calls up the corporation, says, "Hey, I'd love to interview your CEO on the podcast."
Nice.
The gatekeeper says, "Yeah, sure. When would you like to have him on the show?" And so now Amy gets them on the show, has a conversation with them, and now she's booked in to come speak in their organizations. They're referring other guests to her show, which means that she doesn't have to call up the corporation and ask anymore. Now those CEOs are building a relationship with her and referring other people. So that's how a show is strategically placed. So now Amy, because those CEOs fill her business as clients, speaking opportunities, and potential referral partners, she never stops doing that show. And we have a good bunch of different examples of that in our business. So that's what we mean by a strategic show, and that's number two.
All right. I like it. I'm on board. I think so far, so good. What's number three?
Number three is the visibility engine. Okay, so once what a podcast will do for you is create great content. And we talked about that. We know you get great content from your podcast. And typically people think podcasts are audio only. Now, if we
Yeah.
add the, yeah,
We should talk about that. I just want to stick that in there. I am such a video girl, and all of the podcasts that I do are video. Every once in a while, I'll realize that they're actually just going to release it in audio, but I always have to be on camera. What are your thoughts about that? Are they all moving to video? Are there still value in only audio podcasts? Is it moving back and forth? Are there some people who love one and won't do the other?
I think yes to all of those. You're going to get some people that hate video, but when I tell them what the video can do for them, they're like, "Oh, okay." So here's the thing. Yes, podcasting platforms used to be only audio only, but guess what the number three platform is YouTube. And guess what YouTube is? Video. So now what we're doing is instead of just doing a podcast as audio and only going to the audio channels, we're now able to record in video, right? So you can just use Zoom how we are right now or Riverside or something. And now we're getting a podcast video. So now people can see you. So then we can put it on YouTube, but also we can use the video for Reels and for YouTube Shorts and for TikTok even. And it's all the same format. So when we edit it at the end, we've got now this video format that's good for all those social media platforms. Now you don't have to do social media that way. So your visibility engine from your podcast is you can create 25 different types of content from your long form video content, and you can cut up into shorter pieces. You can take the transcript and make a LinkedIn article out of it. You can do videos, shorts, reels, TikToks, like I said. You can do audiograms, you can do visual images, quote cards we like to do, all sorts of things. So now your content is covered. And like our friend Jennifer does on her podcast, which is really clever, is that after she has an interview, she then does a solo show, which then gets you a whole bunch of other content because now your solo episodes is your own voice. When we have a guest on, sometimes we have to do our social content amplifying the guest. And so it's important to have solo episodes. And your solo episodes, you get to then share your voice and your authority. So anyways, that creates your visibility engine in your business, and you never have to worry about your content again because you got loads of content.
I think this is so powerful, and there's so much that can be done. Like if you just speak it into the world, like I said, I'm a video girl. You just speak it into the world, and then cut that up and have it be all of these other things that you don't necessarily want to do. Individual shorts, you don't necessarily want to do like long form YouTube, or you don't want to do all the other things. When you just do your podcast, then that is complete, but it can be translated into all those other things. Like I just didn't even think of quote cards. That's so beautiful. It's so true. Like I don't know why we don't have quote cards that say if someone hands you a mic, you say yes, or if it's not fun, it's not worth doing, or any of the other
Exactly.
25,000 things I say all the time. It would like that's really super valuable. I wouldn't have even thought of that. So you're totally right. The podcast can be your content marketing engine. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly. So then you've got this unlimited supply of content now. And actually, back to what you were just saying a second ago, you're like, if it's not worth doing, if it's not fun, it's not worth doing. And if if someone gives you a mic, you say yes. Those two things I hear all the time. Like people repeat them everywhere, which is brilliant because that goes back to our number one thing, soul message. If you get those things down at the beginning, then you start putting them in all your content and in your podcast and hashtags and all that, so that it works for you no matter where you are. So having those little catchphrases, and like we say, if you're not embarrassed by your first few episodes, you waited too damn long to get them out there, right? And where podcasting is evolving out loud, those things are repeatable, they're quick, people can understand and like relate them back to you, especially visually. So those are great for your soul message. I love that. So number 4 is the wealth pathways. And this is a question we get all the time. How do I monetize my podcast?
Yeah.
How do I monetize my podcast? And if you haven't done number 2, strategically positioning your show, this is a lot harder because just like the model that I showed with Amy specifically has her podcast set up so that it's constantly feeding her joint venture partners. It's constantly feeding her the right new clients and the right relationships. Therefore, she's never going to stop doing it. And she's therefore monetize her podcast, right? In the ways. And I can tell our audience a story about you and I on a podcast. Our friend Val Lowe said, "Hey, I just interviewed Kimberly Crow. You should have her on your show." And I said, "Yeah, I should." I had you on my show. Next thing we know, we were in a breakout room designing Potapalooza. But had we not met on a podcast interview, Potapalooza, which has made revenue for both of us over the last 14 times of doing it, never would have been born and never would have happened. Therefore, we've monetized our podcast that way. He doesn't have to monetize every guest or every experience. Therefore, our podcast is well worth it because that one relationship's turned into an amazing event machine. Do we want to talk about Potapalooza?
Sure, but I just have to say that most people don't think of it that way. They'll come to me and they'll say, I tried podcasts. I was on like 7 podcasts and I never did, it never did me any good. And my mind is blown by that because those podcasts are out there forever. I get stuff from people are watching my podcast that I recorded 7 years ago. And
Yeah.
they're coming to my stuff because it's evergreen. It's out there forever. And it's so powerful to be able to use with AI now because that stuff is out in the public. And so ChatGPT is grabbing all that information of all that content that you've created out there when you were a guest on somebody else's show or when you had your own show, and it's got all that content. So it's like, I know who Kimberly is. This is what I know about her, right? So when as AI unfolds, it's going to grab more and more of this stuff. So the more podcasting you can do, whether you create your own show or guest on shows, or better yet, both, be able to do both and create so much content out there that the iBots can go out and grab and learn more about you. So I just wanted to put that in. But yes,
100%.
let's
Yeah,
talk
and
about
that's a wealth
podcasting.
system, right? And people
Yeah.
are, excited about getting on the news or getting on a newspaper. Well, like that goes away the next day.
Yeah.
Podcast episodes, when you're spending time there, that is all working for you. So fast forward 2 podcasts a week for the next year, you have 104 podcast episodes out there working for you. Let's just say each of those podcast episodes have 1,000 downloads a year. That's very, very small. But let's just say that's like, that's 104,000 people that are hearing your message and hearing your voice and hearing you. And that's working for you without you having to do that. So that's why we spend a little bit of time in the soul message to figure out what you say on as a guest on shows and what you say in your show that helps people know like, oh yeah, this person's for me or this show is for me. It's very good.
Yeah, I think this is powerful. All right, let's get to what number are we on? Is that
Okay,
4?
that was number 4, wealth pathways. So we got lots of wealth pathways to monetize your show. In fact, there's 10 ways in 2026 that are really good for podcasting. And those, lots of them we've already shared today. The wealth pathways are just strategic alignment, right? So the 5th piece is legacy. So not only are we creating great content, not only are we being strategic about having joint venture partnerships and working on the people that we're interviewing and meeting. I no longer have coffee dates. I know you don't either. We just jump on podcasts, right? We interview people, jump on podcasts. They could potentially be a joint venture partner, could potentially be a new client, could potentially refer them to someone else, make some affiliate commission. There's in fact 100 different ways to do that. But the legacy ecosystem is the 5th one. So legacy means that your voice now is an authority, and your voice, you have a media platform. So I think this is a piece we forget. Having a podcast means you have a media piece. Podcasting is not social media. Podcasting is media. So it's in alignment with having a radio station, with a TV channel. And in fact, your podcast is in video, audio, like all over. So you're a media platform. You're owning the platform. It's your platform. And now you have that voice that you can leave a legacy with. So fast forward 20 years from now, your kids are going to go back and listen to your podcast episodes, or maybe your grandkids. Your voice is now out there.
That's
When
really
my
powerful. Yeah, I just like when grandma tells the story of blah, 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 it's out there. Yeah, I love that.
is out there, yeah. And I'll just tell you a quick thing that
Yeah.
Braden and I did, and you know this, Kimberly, but it's made such a powerful difference. And I highly recommend, if you don't want to do podcasting for business, do it for this reason alone. Braden and I interviewed our dad, our mom, we didn't interview our mom. For Mother's Day, we gave our mom a podcast. We interviewed our cousins, each other, our dad, her brothers, and all of our aunts and uncles, and we gave her 7 episodes of our family talking about how much we loved her and sharing stories about her. She cried a lot. It was a Mother's Day, and then she listens to those episodes all the time while she's out there walking. And she said that, well, now fast forward 2 years, 3 people that we interviewed on those shows are no longer here. So now
Wow.
she has the opportunity to listen to their voices still, even though they're no longer here, hear those stories that they shared, even though they're no longer here, and also just feel appreciated and loved. And it's such a cool thing that Brandon and I are really excited about. Like, legacy podcaster is a real thing. Like, make a podcast for your family before it's too late. Our grandfather recorded cassette tapes about his experience in the war that we can listen to, and it's so cool. Like, 20 years he's been gone, and then hearing his voice, my dad was able to share my mom and his love story by his voice at his own celebration of life, and that was really cool. We played the podcast episode for everyone to hear his side of their love story, which I thought was cool. So if you're not going to do a podcast for business, do one for the legacy piece alone. It's worth it.
I think this is fantastic. I'm very excited about this. Okay, totally cool. Let's talk a little bit about your free gift, and then let's talk a little bit about Potapalooza, because the VIP gift, fun. So talk a little bit about your free gift. What is your soul frequency archetype?
Yes, so the soul frequency archetype is something that plays off of your birthday. So we came into this world with certain birth dates and certain things. So we take a little bit of gene keys and in astrology and numerology and human design, and we create this soul frequency archetype. So if you're not sure what you want to talk about, or what your soul is aligned to do in this world, that gives you a little hint. And if you want to go deeper, I'm available.
All right, awesome. So grab this gift. When you got it, just put "I got it" in the chat box so that we know that it worked for you. And then let's talk a little bit about Potapalooza real quick. Right now, Potapalooza is on we're almost sold out of the VIP. It's at full price, but we have a special cool thing that we're going to do for our VIPs. So if you're already upgraded to VIP and you already paid your $49 or your $97, we're going to gift you 1 extra ticket to general admission for Potapalooza. And this is, if you already have your ticket, that's awesome. You can gift this ticket. You can sell your ticket. You can gift this ticket to somebody else. However you want to do it. If you're VIP, we wanted to give you an extra ticket to be able to share with a friend if you already have your ticket, or go yourself if you've never been before. So Michelle, would you like to talk a little bit about how this works?
Potapalooza is this crazy thing Kimberly and I invented when we found out she works with speakers and I work with podcasters. We throw you together, and it's pretty awesome. A 1-day event. There's main stage speakers, Kimberly and I, and amazing bunch of other people that are going to give you amazing content to help you grow your business, your podcast, your authority, your visibility, all that kind of stuff on the main stage. So that's exciting. Then that's not even the magic. That's what you get with general admission. That's exciting, and it's so good in itself. And then we have this extra bit of magic if you upgrade to VIP. We have about 40 podcasters that are in this room called the Podatorium. Our 40 podcasters have volunteered to come for the day to to interview you on their podcast. So as a VIP, you get up to 5 podcasts recorded that day, not scheduled, not like matchy. You're going to actually record the episode that day. I mean, think about that. You not have to do any research on reaching out and pitching and waiting and scheduling and all that crap. None of that. You get it done on that day, which is so cool.
This is really incredible. I totally love it. So if you're VIP, congratulations. Again, if you already have your ticket to Potapalooza, you can gift this one to a friend. You can sell your original ticket if you want to. It is a great opportunity to be able to give you all a bonus for those of you who would like to join us at Potapalooza. So would love for you guys to be able to join that. Totally awesome. All right. What is Oracle free code?
That is the code to put in. Someone just said that the archetype frequency says 197. So just put the code Oracle free in it and it will bring it to 0.
Oh, good. Okay, great. We just didn't have that on the URL. We'll make sure that that gets updated on our gift links as well. They need to use that code in order to get Michelle's gift, which is obviously normally sold for just 97 or for free. And if you are upgrading to VIP, we're super excited that you're upgrading. Totally worth it just from this gift alone. I'm just saying. Totally awesome. Michelle, all right. This has been really amazing. We unfortunately are out of time. We have another amazing speaker. Oh, we have me. I'm going to be speaking on this track. I'm going to be talking about something that's not for everybody. It's just for people who really want to speak more often. So we're going to be talking about the 4 speaking opportunities that entrepreneurs must leverage and how to profit from each one. There's plenty of other speakers if you want to go see the other speakers. This is not a solo track, so go ahead and join whatever floats your boat. I will actually be speaking on this for the next hour, and then we're going to have the wrap-up call. But before we let you go, Michelle, any final words for the crew?
Yes, just holy moly, what an amazing day this is. So many great speakers, so much fun. Oh my gosh, Voices of Women is my favorite. So cool. So I've heard so many incredible women today and just grateful to be here. So guys, use your voice. Next year, you need to be on here speaking if you're not speaking this year, and use your voice. It's a frequency. Your voice carries a frequency that actually makes people move, magnetize to you. So when they hear your voice through the sound waves, whether it's Zoom or whatever, that frequency, you carry a code that would change people's lives. So make sure you use your voice and get it out there in the world.
Well, I love it. All right. So grab the freebies while you can. This has been an absolutely awesome session with Michelle. Thanks for carving time out of your day. And we will see you all back at the bottom of the hour. We're almost to the wrap-up call. It's going to be so fun, ladies and gentlemen. Come join us for the wrap-up call as well. All right. We'll see you all at the bottom of the hour. I'm Kimberly Crow.
Wow, that was
an incredible session. For replays of this talk and all the talks, plus a host of valuable bonus gifts, upgrade now to VIP. That way you can revisit your favorite sessions and catch any you may have missed. We'll see you back for our next session shortly. Which one will you choose?